I studied philosophy. I have an honors degree in philosophy.
This is Matters, Madars Apse.
So you have to record yourself doing the movements.
In taking the law school admissions test, the test you have to take prior to applying for law school.
Hey Liam, my name is Fraser Thomson and I am a software engineer at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. I'm here to answer the questions that you submitted through the Future Me program. At JPL, I work in the mission design and navigation group, and specifically I work on a team with 3 other software engineers where we are writing navigation code that's used for mission planning, used by mission teams to plan small trajectory adjustments to make sure that the spacecraft arrives where it's supposed to arrive instead of embedding itself in the planet's surface, for example. And our software is also used by scientists to plan scientific observations and to reconstruct the geometry of those observations after they've happened. I saw in your video that you're interested in software robotics, and those things go together very well. You may have seen recently that NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory landed the Perseverance rover on the surface of Mars, and that wouldn't have happened without a lot of people that understand robotics and understand software. In fact, our team was involved a little bit with that in getting the spacecraft into the atmosphere safely, and then after that it was software that other people wrote. Anyway, let's get to your questions.
My name is Liam. I'm a grade 8 student from Victoria, BC. I am very excited to be asking questions about your job, as I plan to work in the aerospace industry when I grow up. I'm really interested in science and technology, especially coding and robotics. So thanks for taking the time to answer my questions. So, question 1. What are some of your day-to-day tasks at work?
Some of my day-to-day tasks as a software engineer, I'm writing a lot of C++ code right now, and making decisions about how the different elements of the software package we're building should fit together. And those aren't made in a vacuum. We have team discussions. We have meetings twice a week to go through and update everybody on what we're doing and discuss things that we need to discuss in order to move forward as a group and create the software package. We're actually making a C++ version of this navigation tool that I described before. It already exists in Fortran, C, MATLAB, and IDL. So we're building this new C++ version. It's quite different, and we're really enjoying it. But it's not something that you could do it as a single individual. You could create something like this, but it'd take a long time and it'd be way less satisfying. So that kind of dovetails into another one of your questions, which was
2. How much do you need to work with other people?
I can work fairly independently and do on the tasks that I have on my plate, but working with the team to make decisions about how this package should fit together and interacting with these people and sharing ideas and discussing best ways to approach certain types of problems is really satisfying too. And I would just say that in general, that's a really great skill to develop. You're probably going to have to work with people throughout your life and career and interact with people all the time. There's lots of us on the planet at the moment. And so learning how to really listen and communicate well and effectively share your ideas and so forth, it's a really great skill to build. So I would encourage you to seek those kinds of opportunities out, work on teams when you can, and just develop those skills. They're very valuable in life.
3. Do you enjoy what you do for a living?
And the answer is yeah. I really like my job. I really like the people I work with. It's a bunch of energetic, smart people that are really stoked to be there and really like what they do. JPL in particular feels like a college campus. It's really kind of, you can feel the excitement. And if I'm ever, kind of bogged down a bit by what I'm doing on any particular day, I can take off from the office and go over to the Spaceflight Operations Center and just sit there for a minute or two and watch all the action that's happening in there as all the spacecraft that we're operating in the solar system are tracked in real time, subject to the delay it takes for the signals to get to back to Earth. I can go in there and just get a re-inspiring stoke anytime I need one. But I love the job, yeah.
What helped you get into your job?
What helped me to get into my job? It was sort of an accident, to be honest. I graduated from, I'm Canadian, and I graduated from Queen's University a long time ago. And my first job out of university, I was an electrical engineer, was to work at a really great aerospace company in Cambridge, Ontario, designing subsystems for communication satellites. I always knew I wanted to work in aerospace also, like you, but I didn't really go the software route initially. After a few years working in Cambridge, I realized that I had a real special interest in this area of science called remote sensing, which is this art of using probes of some kind, like radio waves or light, what have you, and instruments designed to make use of those types of signals to learn something about an object that's at a distance. So I took an interest in this field, and I contacted some people to ask for advice on how I could get more involved with that kind of work. And anyway, that led me to apply to grad school at Stanford, which is where I went for my master's and PhD, where I studied remote sensing and worked specifically on a program that JPL was running. And so that was a pretty key part of it, is that I was already working with some of the people at this place that I wanted to work before I'd finished school. And so then transitioning to JPL was much easier with those kinds of connections. Along the way, though, I had to write a lot of software to do the work that I was doing, studying remote sensing. And at some point, it became pretty clear that was a job that was going to be really satisfying for me. So I ended up becoming a software engineer, kind of by accident. And that kind of thing may happen to you too in life, where you have a plan that takes you in a certain direction, and the plan can evolve as you go. And just go with it and enjoy the process, because it's really the ride, I think, that is the most satisfying thing of all. There are these little milestones along the way, but things that happen on a day-to-day basis make up the bulk of what you'll experience in life, and it's good if you can enjoy it all, or as much as you can. So just for now, I guess, developing skills where if you're interested in robotics and software, become a hobbyist, enter science fairs, get friends of yours that are interested in this too, maybe start a club, and not just to sit around and talk, but a club where you're actually building things, and then maybe entering what you build into competition or something. And it's not so much about competing as it is about, like, when you go to these kinds of things, you interact with all sorts of people who have similar interests, and there's so much learning that happens in that environment. And as you do these kinds of things and you build actual hands-on experience with these things, you become of greater interest to companies as you start to get older, and you're looking to apply to a job. They really want to see that you're not just good in school, but you've also developed these skills that are important to whatever it is they're doing. And plus, I think you're probably going to find it very fun. By the way, big props for the C++ book I saw in the background of your video. That's a pretty good language to know if you're interested in robotics, but you probably already know that.
And 5, what was your favorite project to work on?
And that actually isn't something that I'm doing for my job right now, but my favorite project to work on was the Cassini spacecraft, which was in orbit around Saturn for many years. And that's what I did my PhD work on. We used Cassini had a really good radio on board that transmitted a very pure kind of single radio tone. Actually, it transmitted 3, but they're all pure tones. And we transmitted that signal through the rings of Saturn as the spacecraft flew behind Saturn as seen from the Earth. And the radio signal scatters off of the ring particles in a particular way, and some of that scattered signal makes it to Earth as well. And so we analyzed that signal and were able to detect really fine scale structure in Saturn's rings. Essentially, we saw the diffraction pattern of large scale structural patterns in the rings, and we were able to quantify it and report on it, and that's how I graduated. And that was by far and away the most satisfying project I've ever worked on in my life. But I have to say, like, I really love the day-to-day of working with my team and coding navigation software. I like the process of it, and I also like the end application. I love knowing that the software we write is used by lots of people. We actually provide the software for free to the world, and so almost all flying spacecraft, no matter what country they originated from, are actually using our software. If you want to look it up, the software is called the Spice Toolkit. Anyway, Liam, I wish you the very best of luck, and thanks for submitting your questions, and enjoy the ride, man. I hope you have a great time with it, and I wish you all the success in the world. Take care.
All right, that's a wrap for this video. But if you've got questions about your future and want to be featured in an upcoming video, you can go to futureme.ca to learn more. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to share it with others, subscribe to the channel for more, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.